Hello and welcome to the TCF Morning Show. It is Tuesday, November 3rd, and this morning I am joined by Gamer at TCF Gameboy and Boomy at Boomy TCF. I am Zach Lilia at Z Lilia TCF. The main page is at typical_Chicago on Twitter. This morning we will be talking about the Buccaneers and Giants Monday Night Football game. We got the NFL trade deadline, which is going to be pretty huge for the Bears to see if they make some moves. The Cubs won the World Series 4 years ago Monday, but we'll be talking about it this morning. And then the Packers having a little bit of a COVID problem. We'll see how they're dealing with that. And then we got Boomy's Wacky web story to finish up the show. If you want to follow us on Instagram or Facebook, just type in Typical Chicago Fans. You will find us on there. Give us a follow. If you go over to YouTube, type in Typical Chicago Fans. Please subscribe to the YouTube page for our morning shows, podcasts, interviews, food reviews. It all goes on there. Wherever you get your podcast from. If it's Apple, please type in Typical Chicago Fans. And please subscribe, rate, and review. And if it's anywhere else, just type in Typical Chicago Fans. You will find us on there. Please give us a listen. And shout out to 26shirts.com. Chicago. Boomy's got his shirt on. I've sadly got my shirt on. There's a lot of names on this shirt. It's I don't know how far this goes back. The last name I see on here is Haney, I think. So that, who knows when that was. So these are all quarterbacks that the Bears have had up to Foles, which is where we are stuck right now. But if you want to get a shirt just like these, the ones that me and Boomy have on tonight, this morning, go over to 26shirts.com, Chicago. Use the promo code Typical Chicago Fans. You'll get 15% off of your purchase. Again, that is Typical Chicago Fans at checkout for 15% off of your purchase at 26shirts.com, Chicago. Gamer, I guess we got to get into this first. We haven't been able to talk to you since the Bears game. How were your feelings coming off that tough loss to the Saints?
What are the Bears? I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, that's a good way of thinking about it.
No. Obviously very frustrating. They had to play nearly a perfect game to win against a good, it seems like, which is really frustrating too. The defense played well, but I'm somewhat optimistic going forward because that defense could still win you a lot of games, keeps you in a lot of games. If you can just get something at some opportune times to the offense and put their foot on someone's neck when it's time to close somebody out, that'd be great. But it is what it is right now. Hopefully, going forward, defense keeps stepping up, force a couple of turnovers, and hopefully somebody can step up on offense.
Yes, let's hope somebody can. Boomy, how you doing this morning?
Hey, made it through election day. For a political dork like me, it's one of my favorite days. So let the
it's probably going to be
chaos
one of the
ensue.
craziest elections of all time. So
That is for sure. You will not forget this election. That's 100. So make sure if you're a registered voter, you get out there, get your vote in, and do your due diligence as an American citizen.
But let's move into our first subject of the morning. We got the Buccaneers and the Giants Monday Night Football. First off, boys, did you guys know that is this true that Antonio Brown is living with Tom Brady?
I did not hear that, but I'm not surprised.
I don't know if that's just a fake thing on Twitter. I thought I'd seen something that he is living with Tom Brady as of right now. I guess
if it wasn't for Tom Brady, he'd still be at his house wherever he lives. That's the reason he's in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where I saw it. I don't want to get this wrong, but that's just what I have seen.
I've also seen that.
So,
yeah.
Well,
interesting.
That is
there's no better place to be. If you're Antonio Brown, it's the best place you could be. It's still a great house.
Yes.
Tom Brady's got like a personal chef and they're cooking food all day long. It's like a great spot to be. Tom Brady's keeping an eye on Antonio Brown. Those two are probably going to go off win the Super Bowl together this year. Antonio Brown's gonna go off for like a 300-yard game in the Super Bowl because they're just living together and just gonna finish each other's sentences.
I don't know. I think it's maybe next week he can start playing. So
I think it's either next week or the week after he'll be eligible.
adding a wide receiver who was at one point the best was the best at his position at that time to your roster is not a horrible thing, I guess, but
no, and especially with the weapons that he's going to have now, he's going to have Godwin, he's going to have Evans, he's got Jones in the backfield, he's got Fournette, Gronk, like. Man, it's in a down year for the NFC South. Like, this is the year to pounce, man. This is the year to go after it. And I think that's what their plan is. And if the AB situation can work out, they're going to be dangerous. But they are in a little – they're not looking great tonight. Let's just say that.
In a game that is just going to be kind of weird. It's we're only, like, not even halfway through the second quarter right now as we are recording. But this Giants team, it is crazy to say they're 1-6 and they still have a chance. There's still a real chance they can make the playoffs. Like not even like a ha-ha, they're in the hunt. Like no, they could make the playoffs, which is just insane because of how bad their division is. But this team, with no Saquon this year, Daniel Jones it doesn't have a lot of weapons to work with. I don't think that they're there, but they are. They're giving this team. They're making the Buccaneers not look the best right now. They had the Buccaneers had a big fumble in Giants territory, so that was turned into a pretty amazing touchdown. That catch was
goes back
awesome.
To what we talked about though yesterday on the show, like this is another one in the NFL. Like, why is this game on Monday night? I know you want to get Tom Brady in front of the people, but like, there's so many better matchups that could have been prime time. We talked about
I'll take a random Monday night game because that's a little bit harder to flex out. A Sunday night game, you got to just take an afternoon game and turn it into at least the beginning of the week. You know what I mean. It's not like the records change between Monday and Sunday.
I think everybody knew that the Giants coming into the season were not going to compete. Like, you
got to give me Saquon. They have Daniel Jones. I don't know.
It's still a big market too.
I'll take
a lot of viewers in New York.
Okay, I'll take a Monday night. It's tough to get the Monday night game switch. I think a Sunday night game, that is one that is easily flexed if they make it early. They always wait till like the middle of the week too to do it. So if it's a game, that's going to be they play Sunday and they play the next Sunday, and that like Sunday night or Monday you make the decision because of the two teams are going to have like the game of the week. I think that needs to be done more often than throw in like the game of the week at a random like 3:45 or 3:25.
Yeah.
But that was our football rant. Like I said, this game, I don't know. It's one of those games that say that for some reason Tampa Bay loses. I'm not going to be worried. I wouldn't say it's going to ruin their season, but they will be 5-3. But I don't think that it's this Giants team. It's weird. Like I said, Daniel Jones. We were talking about this before. Gamer said he's a big. I wouldn't say a big fan of Daniel Jones, but you said he has expectations that you think that he'll be a good player.
He's got qualities to him. Like looks like he's got a decent arm. He's mobile. I think he's got some intelligence there. He just turns the ball over so much. Mm-hmm. But he's the type of guy like you can work with that eventually. Eventually, he's going to close it up a little bit, and you're going to see him be, at least an above-average quarterback in the NFL.
And I think Jason Garrett's doing an okay job. I mean, I think he's, as an offensive coordinator, I mean, you could definitely have worse guys. This is his first full year as a starting quarterback. Obviously Jason Garrett's time kind of ran out in Dallas, but I think you could come up with a lot worse options as your offensive coordinator as you're trying to get acclimated to the NFL.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I agree with Boomy on that, but let's move on to the next subject, which is kind of big for the Chicago Bears because we will be needing some offensive line help. Not sure we're going to get any huge help within the trade deadline, but the NFL trade deadline, I think it ends today at 3. I think
so.
So the Bears have until 3 o'clock today to make a move. No moves have been made by them yet. Nothing even really hinted at that they were even going to make a move. Like I said, they really need some guard
The
play.
issue with offensive line and picking it up is it's at such a premium, and
if
teams
there's
are
somebody
just
that you
not
want
willing
that
to
bad, who's
trade.
going to make a change, they're probably on a team that's
It's
winning.
Right, and if you want somebody that even is on a bad team, they're not really willing to usually give up because they know that good offensive line play is at a the highest dollar cost. You're going to have to pay an arm and a leg to get one guy, and it's just you don't usually see big name offensive linemen get traded. You don't see a lot of trades in the NFL, period, let alone offensive linemen. So I think it's. You hope for the best when your team goes out and looks for him, but you also have to understand that if you are going to make a move, that there's going to be a huge price to pay for that.
Who was the guy that got traded from the Jets?
Oh,
He
yeah.
went from an 0-6 team. No, from the Jets to the Steelers. From an 0-6 team to a 7-0 team.
The luckiest guy on the planet right now.
Exactly. That's got to be so awesome. Such a great feeling. It should go from the biggest loser in NFL history to a 7-0 team. Unreal.
Adam Gase to Mike Tomlin is going to be different. Adam Gase may be the worst coach of all time. He may be who was he like Peyton Manning's offensive coordinator or something like that?
Yeah, that I think he was worked with Jay Cutler and Peyton Manning when they were in Denver.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
And Peyton Manning, any offensive coordinator, he's probably going to be a great quarterback. And with Jay Cutler, if that's what you're going to, I don't know.
That'd be
wouldn't hang your hat
Les
on that.
Miles in Kansas, and then you get to transfer to Clemson and play for Dabo Swinney.
And he was a pretty good offensive coordinator for the Bears. Not going to say that. But he's an offensive.
Not a good head coach.
A bad coach. And just a weird dude in general.
This first half over is never going to hit. These two teams hate scoring, apparently.
Well, I have the Tampa Bay -7 for the first half.
That game that line got to -12.5.
Yeah, Tom Brady just smashed his helmet off the bench. That's how I feel too. So NFL trade deadline, 3 o'clock today. We'll see if the Bears make some moves. We'll see if there's any moves really made. There was I think I saw a few trades today, mostly defensive players.
Yep. I think the Chargers and the Saints pulled off a trade. I think a defensive back from the Chargers also got traded. There was a couple moves here and there. The 49ers, I think, made a move, but nothing.
That team
the NFL trade deadline is the worst of all trade deadlines.
The 49ers are in trouble. They don't have Greg Kittle for 8 weeks, and then I think
Garoppolo's up for 6.
Yeah, you think that's pretty much the season there. In a very good division where you're already 4-4.
Yeah, I think at this point you just play the young guys. I mean, they still got a couple running backs out. They're pretty much they got
Nick Bosa out.
Yeah,
but let's
chalk this one up to an injury year and come back next year.
Let's move on to a subject that all of us can just sit back and think about where you were yesterday, 4 years ago to the date. The Cubs, Game 7. Win the World Series. I guess it technically was it technically Tuesday when they won?
Where they were at when the game finished, I believe, was technically Tuesday.
So technically it was today. The Cubs win the World Series in one of my favorite sports moments of all time.
Oh, it's number one. It's
number one. Easily.
It went from one of the worst to one of the best, because when Rajay Davis hit that home run, I thought it was all over. I'm like, this is insane how this is just going to happen.
This is how it's going to end.
And then they had the rain delay. They come back. They win the game. We go to the bar. I see Boomy. We have a great night. It
See
was
my grandma.
yeah, it was an all-time night. And you kind of look back to see where this team is going to maybe be. We're getting rid, not getting rid. John Lester, they didn't pick up his option. They did pick up Rizzo's option, but who's going to be back next year? Who knows? It's just nice to kind of look back on better times.
Yeah, today we'll just forget all of the, that's going on with the Cubs right now and just embrace the fact that 4 years ago we had, the best time of our lives.
Easily like a top, might be the best time of my life, honestly. In all seriousness.
Oh yeah,
like,
you were there too.
I can't
Gamer.
think of many other nights. Oh yeah, of course I was there. But yeah, it was awesome to go home and watch it with my dad. Opportunity to, guy who made me a Cubs fan, and he'll go home and watch that with him was amazing. And you're right, the Rajai Davis home run, like he hit that, and I think the entire night, me and my dad talked throughout the entire game, like, not talking. We didn't talk for like 20 minutes after that Rajai Davis home run. Like we were just dead silence. My mom's room, we're just sitting there, just like stone cold face, like just nothing, no expression. And then finally, rain delay happened. The rest is history.
Last time I cried.
The last time you cried.
All right.
Yeah.
Bit of a brag there by.
Jeez,
by
tough
Boomy.
guy over
Say
here.
he's gone 4 years.
Cry
Tough
a
guy,
little bit,
Boomy.
dude.
Not a cry. I've never cried
Emotional,
watching
man.
movies too. That came up in a discussion the other day. I've never cried watching a movie.
You have no soul,
Does that make
dude.
you like heartless?
Yes.
I don't know. I've never seen a movie that like I almost cried watching Blood Diamond.
Did you get
One of the best
married?
movies I've ever watched. Yeah, that was before.
No.
That was before. Okay, I was trying to think
Okay,
when that
yeah.
was. That was before or after the series.
Yeah, almost 2
what the hell?
months before.
Okay. Now that makes sense now in my head.
Yeah. This is not a cry.
I was gonna say
Cried a
your
lot when I was
poor
little. I was
wife.
kind of a whiny
Cry
little kid.
with the
Cried
Cubs
a lot
World
of-
Series. Don't cry when you get married.
And, I am who I am.
I think you need to cry
Tough
a little
guy.
more, Boomy. Maybe you'll be
I'm
less.
telling you, dude, Zach. I was a whiny little kid, and I cried a lot when I was little. So I think I just cried myself out. I don't know if there's any more, tears in those ducks anymore.
I think you need to cry.
I'll try. I can't guarantee
Someone just needs to go punch.
anything.
Someone go punch
I'm not like
Boomy.
intentionally holding it back. I don't know if I've been punched. I don't know if that'd make
You
me
know how
cry.
like on Semi-Pro when Jackie Moon had never thrown up?
Yeah.
You never throw up.
It's like when you never cried and someone
Punch
like
him in
just
the
punch
juju.
you and you'll start crying.
I don't. My brother's punched me a few times since then, and I don't know if that'll do it.
Well, no. This is.
Is what it is.
I think this is kind of a slight brag by you there.
I'm really not
It's a
meaning
humble
to it. I
brag
really
right
am. I'm just not a crier.
But all Cubs fans can look back and say, today, yesterday, and just remember the good times where we don't know where next season will bring us or where the offseason will even take us. Packers having a little bit of a COVID problem with their running backs. They go straight lockdown today or yesterday because they are preparing for a game that they would like to play against the San Francisco 49ers, a team that is not looking that great right now with the injuries that they have. You would like to go play that game. The 49ers, they got some tough schedule ahead for them. But the Packers, this is keeping it on lockdown. Just gonna. There's how many? I think there was a few other players that tested positive on other teams today. It's just one of those things.
Yeah.
You trace where you kind of trace it back. You test people. They test negative. You keep it moving. It's just how it's going to be in the NFL.
That's kind of how it is. You do the protocols right. You wear your mask. You keep your distance. The odds of someone else catching it, definitely decrease when you're in a confined area. So, if they've been doing it right, as of now, no one else has come back positive on the Packers. We'll obviously find out more about that today and tomorrow. But in his press conference today, Matt LaFleur said that all indications from the NFL is that they're going to continue to play, to plan to play this game on Thursday. And I think as long as no one else tests positive, I don't think you're going to see a game cancellation. But yeah, it's definitely concerning, especially, Zach, we talked about it. when we were messaging each other earlier, that Wisconsin has one of the worst outbreaks in the country, and the fact that it took till week 9, for the Packers to get a case is kind of crazy. Like, you would almost expect it a little bit earlier, if I'm being completely honest. So hopefully they did everything right. Hopefully they did the protocols right. And if Dylan's going to be out this week, hopefully Aaron Jones will be ready to go.
That's the biggest problem. It's not that the whole. I mean, the COVID thing is bad, but also he is the backup. Like, because the starter is already hurt, so you're already down a guy there. So that's where
I don't even know if they have a running back on the practice squad. They would have to go and sign someone like today in hopes, or in case they need another running back. Because if not, you're going to have to flex one of your wide receivers, or if they do, I'm not 100% sure what the practice squad looks like, but it's not going to be pretty. That's for sure. It's going to be whatever the throwing completions or throwing the passes thrown by Aaron Rodgers. If both of those guys are out and they're going to have to go in there with Jamal Williams as their only running back, you better take those over the amount of passes.
60 throws.
Yeah, it's 60, 70. Who knows?
Yeah,
I would do the same thing if I were Packers offensive coordinator. 60 throws every game.
Yeah, no kidding.
If you have Aaron Rodgers, you might as well do that every game.
I don't need a running back. It's a waste of a roster spot to sign someone else.
If it's not Aaron Jones, just let me wing this thing around.
Exactly.
The Packers just sign or hire Matt Nagy, and they will just throw it every single time.
That'd be a great combination.
Matt Nagy probably run with them.
Well, I don't even want to get into Matt Nagy right now.
I don't want to talk about Matt Nagy. Yeah, I can't talk about Matt Nagy right now. I'm done with him.
I don't want. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. Boomy, do you have a wacky web story for us?
I sure do. And like I said earlier, today being election day, if you are a registered voter, get out, get your vote in, because you have no excuse. Because a woman in Orlando, Florida, was able to get to they do early voting that you can register for. And she was able to get her vote in while she was in labor. She went into labor and knew that if she went in and gave that she wouldn't be out in time to cast her early ballot. So her husband, after she went into labor, drove her to the polling place. He went in and basically kind of told him what was going on. The wife was in labor. She couldn't get out of the car. She continued to do her, Lamaze breathing. They went out. They checked her ID. They gave her They thought she was just going to take it, fill it out. Then they would bring it back later. No, she stuck it out. She continued her breathing, got through it, casted her ballot, then went to the hospital and gave birth. So you have no excuse to not go get your vote in. So shout out to that lady.
Can we make this a little bit easier though, and just we could have
can we
accommodated the lady to do the voting at the hospital?
Extenuating circumstances. Come on.
Yeah, that's.
Hey, my wife's in labor. Can you send someone to meet us at the hospital with a ballot?
I'd rather not have my child while waiting in line to vote.
Yeah, some community college parking lot, and you were born in a community college parking lot because your mom was voting. Absurd.
That's crazy.
That lady loves.
Not crazy. I think it's awesome, but it's crazy the lengths that people are going to having to go through right now just to vote.
Dude, and I don't know how much you've seen, but the lines in some of these places for waiting, people are waiting 5 hours.
I think Chicago opened the United Center.
Yeah.
Voting, so
I've never waited for more than 5 minutes to get into a polling booth, but every place is different. And obviously, I live out in the middle of nowhere, so our numbers are big cities,
Yoda's always you're in and out in 5 minutes. I'm a little nervous about tomorrow. I saw a big line here in Sycamore when I was driving home today. And I was like, "Ooh, it's gonna be rough." So I'm hoping I can get in and out. Might have to go early, but
yeah, you got to hit that perfect time where most people are at work. But in Illinois, a lot of places are recognizing today as a state holiday to go out and vote. So, like I said, if you're capable, you're a registered voter, you need to get out there, find out where your polling place is, and get there.
Make sure you go out and vote if you can. And I think so how does this work? what was the point of the like voting before? Just to try and get less people having to vote today?
Yeah, it was, and they've always done early voting. It's been a thing, and you can vote by mail or an absentee ballot. That's been a thing for a very long time, and they've pushed a lot more on the early voting to hopefully avoid the 5-6 hour lines in places like Chicago and New York and LA. Because some of those lines, I guarantee, check Twitter tomorrow, you're going to see a 6 hour line for voting.
That's crazy.
Minimize that, especially with the global pandemic and everything.
That's wild. Boys, anything post show?
I think we said, go out and vote. It's really important to, take part in your civic duty as a citizen of the United States. It's really important to do that when you have a chance to. So I think that's the most important thing.
And I don't want to hear about our votes don't even count, the electoral college, because there's so many things that are local and state, that are going to affect you way more than any federal election is going to. So even if you don't really, think you have a part in who's going to be the president, there's still a lot more things locally and at the state level that are going to affect you a lot more wherever you may live. So like you said, man, and this is coming from, two guys deeply involved in it. So, we're obviously looking at it through a different prism, but yeah, get out and vote. That's for sure.
I vote that Matt Nagy does not make play calls anymore.
Can we get that on the ballot for you guys? I feel bad for it. Can we get that on the ballot?
I'll vote for that.
All I want.
Hey, what were you guys thinking about Wim's 2 games? I mean, that dude's an idiot.
Yeah,
dumbass.
But
he's got to be gone.
I know
I hate him.
It looks bad. It is bad, but emotions run high. You just never know. I mean, I'm not saying what he ever did, what he did was good or whatever, but
punching anybody that has a helmet on is the dumbest thing ever.
Well, yeah, but what are you gonna do? Rip it off?
He didn't even move. The guy hit. He just stood
that
there.
a little bit more.
No, but yeah, 2 game suspension. You knew it was gonna. I thought it was gonna be a little bit more than that, honestly.
I think they're gonna release him. He hasn't been that productive, has he?
I would not.
No, he hasn't done anything.
But I wouldn't think they're gonna release him though. I think they'll keep him. I don't think it's worth getting rid of. I think you need to keep as many wide receivers as you can.
You're probably not wrong.
But
yep, fair enough.
And I don't really think it's like a releasable thing. It's not like, I don't know. Emotions run high. You never know. Maybe he got some respect in the locker room. You never know what the reason was. And because I did see something about he denied it, but they said he got spit on.
No, I saw that he ripped his chin guard off and was talking a bunch, and then he ripped the dude's chain off and then started punching.
Well, I heard the guy that he punched maybe had spit on Wims.
No, I did not hear that one.
That could have been the reason why he did it.
That's the thing, man. There's only 2 people in this world that know what happened. And
no, that's right. I was just explaining the story.
Right. Yeah, I
felt like we were on the right page there, Boomy.
No, I understand.
You picking up when I'm laying down?
I'm picking up with your laying down.
Well, thank you to Gamer at TCF Gameboy and Boomy at Boomy TCF for joining me this morning. I am Zach Lilia at Z Lilia TCF. The main page is at typical_Chicago. Instagram, Facebook. Type in Typical Chicago Fans. You'll find us on there. Go over to YouTube. Type in Typical Chicago Fans. Subscribe to the YouTube page. And then wherever you get your podcast from, type in Typical Chicago Fans. You'll find us on there. If it is Apple, please subscribe, rate, and review. Give us that 5-star rating. And a shout out to 26shirts.com, Chicago. I got their shirt on. Boomy's got their shirt on. If you want shirts just like this, go over to 26shirts.com, Chicago. Use the promo code Typical Chicago Fans for 15% off of your purchase. Again, that is Typical Chicago Fans at checkout for 15% off of your purchase. Anything else, boys?
Let's have a great Tuesday.
Let's have a great Tuesday. This has been the TCF Morning Show, Tuesday, November 3rd. We love you all.
Peace.